Between branded cryptocurrency assets and foreign investment, nearly $4 billion has moved through the Trump family's private accounts during his time in office. This volume of capital is flowing through a system designed to bypass traditional political oversight. World Liberty Financial serves as the primary corporate vehicle for these transactions. It functions as a specialized crypto fund that allows the administration to manage global assets with the opacity of a private firm. This diagram tracks the operational logic of the fund. Foreign actors provide currency inputs that convert into a specific equity path. These tokens grant investors access to sectors of the U.S. economy that are normally restricted for national security reasons. When private equity determines access to national technology, the executive branch undergoes a reorganization. The government stops functioning as a regulatory body and begins operating as a for-profit enterprise. The United Arab Emirates provides a clear look at how this architecture is utilized. They were among the first major foreign state actors to engage with this specific system. Days before the administration's second inauguration, an investment fund controlled by the UAE's national security advisor, Sheikh Tanhoun bin Zayed Al Nahyan, purchased a $500 million stake in the World Liberty Financial Fund. The policy results followed quickly. Sheikh Tanhoun successfully lobbied for the UAE to receive America's most restricted AI computer chips, with a significant portion of that hardware going to his own private AI company. The loop also involves the use of the pardon power. In the year 2023, Binance founder Changpeng Zhao was convicted of federal crimes, carrying $4.3 billion in financial fines. After Zhao's company provided the software infrastructure to launch World Liberty Financial, the president granted Zhao a pardon, effectively wiping those billions in fines off the government's books. This diagram illustrates the secondary loop. Software infrastructure moved into the family's fund, and in exchange, a UAE firm injected $2 billion into Binance. This creates a stream of interest payments, totaling roughly $80 million every year. Converting a federal pardon into a private revenue stream changes the nature of American law. It signals to the global market that U.S. regulatory power is a commodity to be bought, rather than a standard to follow. Domestic asset extraction follows a similar logic, most notably in the president's massive $10 billion lawsuit against the Internal Revenue Service. The claim seeks damages for the 2019 and 2020 public release of the president's tax records. Lawyers for the president are currently in talks with his own administration's Treasury officials to settle the case. This would result in a massive cash payout, taken directly from federal tax reserves. This maneuver uses the mechanisms of corporate litigation to facilitate a direct raid on taxpayer capital. To find a comparison for a $4 billion extraction, you have to look past the typical scandals of the 20th century. Even in the 1800s, Gilded Age graft under presidents like Ulysses S. Grant was limited to small-scale individual bribes. Historic corruption, like the Teapot Dome scandal, involved cabinet officials running unauthorized side deals for oil rights. This current operation is driven by a different economic model, patrimonial macroeconomics. This framework is a hallmark of autocratic movements in Eastern Europe and Latin America. It uses nationalist rhetoric to provide political cover, while the state's resources are systematically transferred into the private estates of a single family. The current administration has successfully integrated this autocratic business model into the highest levels of the U.S. government. We can see this extraction in the president's proposed domestic infrastructure projects, including a ballroom, a triumphal arch, and a presidential library. This chart shows hundreds of millions raised for these monuments from corporate donors. The red portion represents tens of millions marked for the library, currently unaccounted for. These projects function as state-sanctioned laundering vehicles for private capital. The founding generation warned that a commodified government was a poisoned system. They believed that when public service is sold for profit, the state itself enters a period of decline. If the world's most powerful regulatory body operates as a private equity firm, the stability of the US dollar is no longer guaranteed by law, but by the personal interests of a single family.